It was in chapter 907 that we first got introduced to Shanks' twin brother, and at the time it was just a theory, but now with chapter 1137 it has been confirmed that Shanks has indeed a twin brother, and his name is Shamrock Figurland. He is the son of Figurland Garling, which also makes Garling Shanks' father, and this is crazy that Oda actually went down this route, because this theory has been circulating in the One Piece community for years now, and I never thought it would actually come true. Shanks has officially beaten the rat allegations, because now we know for certain that it wasn't him that spoke to the Gorosei about a certain pirate. But we can wonder who exactly is the pirate Shamrock was talking about in chapter 907. We don't know, but we can have a pretty good guess that it was most likely Shanks Shamrock was referring to, since Shanks is an emperor and Shamrock seems to really despise what Shanks has become, even to the point of getting triggered by Loki for just mentioning the fact that he resembles Shanks. It makes sense for him to go to the five elders to discuss about taking him down, since he views Shanks as a disgrace to the family for having become a pirate when they are supposed to be nobles. So in today's video, I will be explaining everything you need to know about Figurland Shamrock, the most unexpected character to have ever been introduced in One Piece, and what his future role in the story is. So first, let's start with his name, as it carries a pretty interesting meaning behind it. Shamrock is the name of a three-leaf clover, and it is a symbol of Ireland. It represents Christianity in Ireland because Saint Patrick, one of Ireland's patron saints, used the three-leaf clover as a metaphor for the Holy Trinity, each leaf representing the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. By looking into the story of this three-leaf clover, we quickly find out that it is linked to a distinguished historical figure, Saint Patrick, also known as the Apostle of Ireland. But what is interesting is that his story does share a bit of similarities with Shanks, because at 16, Patrick was captured by Irish pirates and was then sold as a slave in Ireland. It was only after a few years that he managed to flee from Ireland to return to Great Britain. He then became a priest and returned to Ireland as a missionary to spread Christianity. He dedicated the rest of his life to turn the Irish people away from the pagan practices they indulged in, and he also gave rise to a famous legend that claims he drove all the snakes away from Ireland. So the reason I am telling you his story is because it does resonate in a particular way with One Piece. First of all, the fact that he was kidnapped by pirates, which reminded me of Shanks, who wasn't kidnapped like him, but was still taken by a pirate crew at a very young age. The second connection it has with One Piece is the famous legend that claims he drove all the snakes away from Ireland. Historians believe this story is actually a myth, as Ireland probably didn't have that many snakes during that period. They suggest that the legend likely symbolizes him not driving away snakes, but rather him driving paganism out of Ireland. And for those of you who don't know what paganism is, it is basically the belief and practices of people before the main monotheistic religions were completely established, and they usually were polytheistic religions. Saint Patrick's goal was to turn away people from these practices and convert them to Christianity, and I believe that this is a direct link to Shamrock Figurland's motives, because as we read in chapter 1137, Shamrock states that he wants the giants of Elbaf to heel to the world government, meaning he seeks to have Elbaf fully subordinated to their rule and completely change their way of life, similar to what Saint Patrick seeks to do with Ireland. You can say that Shamrock and Gunko are divine missionary sent by the world government, since they both are God's knights and were instructed with the mission to try and force the giants to fall under the world government's control, which is why after failing to recruit Loki, Shamrock gives the idea to Gunko to take their children hostage so that they would be forced to do what they say. They are attempting to take control of a nation they consider are savages according to their own words, and they would view the worship of the sun god as a paganistic belief. So the god's knights want to turn the giants of Elbaf away from worshipping and believing in the sun god, much like Saint Patrick, who tried to lead the Irish people away from paganism and towards Christianity using the shamrock as a metaphor. Oda linked Shamrock's mission on Elbaf to Saint Patrick's story, which is why he is called Shamrock. So that was the lore behind Shamrock's name, but what will he actually contribute to the main story? Is Shamrock really going to fight Shanks? These two characters are natural enemies, and during the final war it would make sense for Shanks to face him since they represent opposing ideologies. But however, a more likely opponent for Shanks in the Great War is none other than Blackbeard, and it is a confrontation that has been built up for many years now, and we cannot just ignore that. If we look at the cover volumes that Shanks appears in, Oda has consistently paired his appearance on them with Blackbeard, always showing them together whenever one appears. Even their encounter during Marineford seemed like it was hinting at a future confrontation between the two pirate groups. So yes, it would make more sense for Shanks to fight Blackbeard during the final war rather than Shamrock, especially since we recently got introduced to this character. Meanwhile, Blackbeard and Shanks' rivalry has been teased at for so long now, so it is only natural for Shanks to finally fight Blackbeard rather than Shamrock during the final war. So who in One Piece is actually going to fight Shamrock? Well, for me, the one that makes the most sense is Dracul Mihawk. Not only is Mihawk a member of Cross Guild who are against the world government, but he also considered Shanks a rival before Shanks lost his arm. So what better replacement for him than Shanks' twin brother, who also wields a sword? And if we agree to this idea, then I can imagine the rest of Cross Guild going against the other God's Knights. Crocodile, Buggy, and the rest of the 7 warlords, if they actually join Cross Guild, would make such great opponents against the God's Knights. And Mihawk fighting Shamrock will give Mihawk the same thrill he had when he fought Shanks when they were rivals. I personally think it would be the perfect opponent for Mihawk to fight during the Great War, because not only is he Shanks' twin brother, but he is also a swordsman. And last but not least, the last thing we know about Shamrock is his sword, which has the mythical zone type Cerberus Devil Fruit. The blade can turn into a 3-headed dog on command, which in turn have blades coming from its mouth. Even Loki, who is noted among the giants for his incredible strength, was fearful of getting stabbed by the blades. And it is very fitting for Shamrock to wield this blade, because in Greek mythology, Cerberus is a multi-headed dog that guards the gates of the underworld. And back in chapter 1085, Sabo referred to Maria Joyce as Hell itself, after witnessing Imu and the 5 elders transform into monsters in the throne room. Since Shamrock is a God's Knight and serves as the guardian of Maria Joyce, he can be compared to Cerberus from the Greek mythology. Exactly like Cerberus, he is the guardian of Hell, protecting the world nobles and Imu. This connection is what likely influenced Oda to give him this ability. So all in all, Shamrock is such a fascinating character, and I think Oda introduced him really well into the story. Shanks having a twin brother doesn't seem weird personally to me, and I know some fans have been complaining about it, but I appreciate how Oda still manages to surprise us in One Piece by introducing new characters we never expected to be part of the story. And I cannot wait to see more of Shamrock in Elbaf, and him meeting Luffy is going to be such an interesting interaction.